I am here with Michelle Nealey, an amazing human being in many ways, not the least of which is the fact that she's just graduated from hypnotherapy college and is going to make a big impact on the world. The treasure chest demo that we're going to do right now is actually inspired partially by George Kappas, who's a very preeminent hypnotherapist. And I'll mention the main aspect that he's kind of inspired as we go through it. So this is a blank treasure chest, and the first step would be to make this your own. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to make a copy for Michelle's treasure chest. And we'll even give it a start date here, 4/27/2020. Okay, so then she's got that. So she'll be able to go to that later. And we're going to do one thing really quick just to get it ready for Michelle. We're going to take out all these check marks from the demo aspect of it. But first, let's just take a look at kind of how it all fits together. So there's your basic actions, including triggered sequences and stacks leading to what you value the most, your treasures, especially actions you're currently not consistent in. You also can bold those actions and put them in your calendar. When you do, the bold signifies here, or even using a different color, that those are also blocked out in your Google Calendar. So that's an extra level you can take if you'd like to. But here are some blank stacks, stack meaning one or more triggered sequence actions. And each one of those is going to weigh in relative to the other one. Right here, they're all just set at 25. But in fact, as you look at the actions leading to what you really want, some are big. They're huge, and you want to symbolically give them more weight. Now, what's the symbol? According to George Kappas, a wonderful hypnotherapist, he says that money is the archetypal symbol in our human minds for abundance and success. So we're going to use money, and we're going to use it in relative weight, meaning that some things are important, but not as important as others. And so there's the weight column there. One could be 50 or 60. The other one could be only 15, but it's important enough to actually put on my habit tracker, which is what this is. Treasure chest is actually a format for a habit tracking. So I'm going to put it on my tracker, and I'm going to get really conscious every day with whether I'm doing what leads to what I want or not. And that's the major aspect of any habit tracker, and there are many great habit trackers, but that's also true with what we call treasure chest. So there's all what, let's say, as an example, this person had a bunch of things that he was tracking over here, and that's how he did. Now you'll notice on the right in Treasure Chest Plus, which is to take it a little further, is that you're going to pay attention to streaks. They can all be 5 out of 7. They can be 7 out of 7. Some of them, they can be 4 out of 7. They can be 1 out of 7 if you have a weekly activity you're doing. But whenever you reach your streak, you want to hit that up button and celebrate it. And so it's really easy to do. You just hit it, and it adds value to the symbolic money that you're accumulating in the process of habitualizing the actions that lead to your vision. The power of actions that lead to your vision, or in other words, the power of habits that you're trying to create, is so important, because when you create a habit, it brings into your life momentum. And momentum means that there's a certain amount of energy that you're not actually having to create. If you get on a bike and you've pedaled and pedaled and pedaled, at a certain point, that thing, to some degree, has a power all on its own, which is why riding a bike is such an effective mode of not communication, but transportation, because it creates momentum. Anything with wheels is going to create momentum. And you harness that momentum. So when you create a habit, it creates momentum. When you create momentum, it continues to infuse energy into your habits and consistency into your habits. A great circle there. But that's what this example here is showing you right now. These bonus streaks are all set up in advance. You don't want to put anything in a colored box. If it's colored, don't do anything to it because that's a formula. Put all of your input in white boxes. But these are all set up to give you twice of the daily value that you've ascribed to an action over here, and put that in your bonus over here. Which brings me to the lower part of the screen. So each day, as you look at what you did for the day, let's look at what we did on this example, did on Monday. So he's going to put in 235, and I'm going to write down there, I have focused my intentions today on my real treasures to the amount of $235. And I'm not doing it for the demo here, but you want to write that in fresh every night as this wonderful moment of facing your life, of looking at your treasure chest. And by the way, without any judgment of what you did, without any resistance, without any story about why didn't I do more? And oh my gosh, I'm failing in my own goals. This is designed to celebrate and motivate and inspire and just kind of create some momentum in the process of creating your habits. Mm-hmm. So that's what that looks like. I write it in fresh every day. Now notice that there fills itself out. So if I click up here and I have another bonus streak, I click up here, it just does it by itself. The end of the week, I'm going to write my affirmation on the bonus streak. I have focused now the affirmations are whatever you want it to be. I've given a couple of examples here, but it's whatever inspires you and meditatively draws you into this critical moment of your life that I call facing your life on a daily basis. So, and like George Kappa says, it needs to be kind of a moment of almost hypnotherapy, where you're in a kind of a just breathing really evenly and very still, and I'm going to write my affirmation. I have focused my intentions on my real treasures to the amount of $600, and this would be at the end of the week, of bonuses. Well, I love that. Yeah, everybody likes bonuses. Remember, that's all Monopoly money. That's all just kind of fun money that you're sending, and then you write your name, to your brain as a symbol. But it kind of opens you up. If any of you have played Monopoly that are watching this demo, you'll know that even though you know it's Monopoly money, something's kind of fun about accumulating all that money. So already I've opened myself up. I've inspired myself. I've, perhaps most importantly, paid consistent attention to my streaks. This is why I love the color green over there, which symbolizes money. The reason George Campus stresses money as a symbol is because he feels that it's just archetypal. It's in our DNA as a symbol of success and abundance and congruity and a lot of things that we're trying to create in our character. So that's how that looks so far. And when I'm done, Michelle, you're going to ask any questions, hopefully, that you want, but I'm going to just take you through each little piece to see. Okay. Now, here's where you add the next piece. So now, in the concept of adding a bonus process, you have what's called special savings. Now there's a few reasons why we're using special savings. One is because instead of converting, which is what I'm now going to talk about. You're actually going to convert some of your treasure chest money to real money. So now it's not only symbolic, it's real. And you're going to pick with your spouse, or if you're single, with yourself, something that you think is realistic, maybe that I could actually end up putting into a savings account. Now I use Ally, I don't know, it's Ally Bank or Ally Bank, I don't know what it is, but I love it because you can move $1 in there if you want to, or $5, and you can move something in there every day from your bank account. This is where it becomes pretty poignant, because now I've enjoyed the fun of the Monopoly money, but now I'm sending an even stronger signal to my brain in that I'm holding a space for something that I want. How am I holding a space for it? I'm saving for it, literally. And I'm tying together the process of paying attention to my habits up here to the process of saving for something I really want. Whether that's a down payment on a home or my emergency savings fund, that's something we really want. One of the reasons that I picked this area of the conversion of treasure chest money to real money is because if a husband has a treasure chest and he says, well, I want to save up for new golf clubs, or a wife says, I want to save up for new shoes, they may not approve of each other's budget, but husbands and wives all seem to share in common a great need and desire to save more money, to live in abundance. And what's abundance? Doesn't mean to spend freely without guilt, although it can include that. It means to be so conscious of the flow of your money that you end up with the money you need to buy what you actually want, instead of nickel and diming yourself out of the funds that you're trying to save toward what you want. Does that make sense so far, Michelle, that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think so.
Why don't you ask any questions now on what you've seen? You've got this part up here. You got the bonus streaks over here. It comes down over here. At the end of the week, it gives you the amount that you've actually created in treasure chest money, including the bonus for the week. And that's down here, 1,635 in this example. That automatically goes over here. You decide how much of a percentage you want to put here. Let's make it 5%, for instance. Mm-hmm. So now it turns out to $81. This is the amount I'm going to that's going into special savings this week. For what? Well, see the items right there. This is the remaining balance to put in special savings, because I've only put a certain amount in there. So let's put some more on there. I'll put another $20 toward a new car here. Now, at any time, you can just move it that day. Now I got $22 I can put over there based on what I've saved so far. I haven't even got to Saturday or Sunday. But I just want to make a little note here. If I do move something over to Ally Bank, just put move to savings. That way I am clear and straight on my on what's being moved in and out of accounts and so forth. Okay, so now that you've been avalanched with this abundant amount of information, what are your questions before we actually turn this into your treasure chest?
Explain to me about the triggered actions.
Okay, so let's take an example. What is something you want to learn to make a habit?
One of my habits that I wrote down for our couple's GPS was consistent daily prayer and gospel study.
Okay, so which leads to which? The prayer or the gospel study?
Probably the prayer first.
Okay, so that would trigger, as B.J. Fogg puts it, and James Clear, that would trigger the gospel study. So now you have your first stack, and that may even trigger something else. Prayer, gospel study. You want to, in these kinds of things, also identify a minimum amount of time in prayer and gospel study. So what would be a minimum time for you?
Minimum 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'll just put 10 plus minutes. And is there anything else that first stack may include for a triggered series of events? Or do you want to just go to the next stack?
No, I remember I also wanted to do positive input, like, a conference talk or something uplifting or inspirational that I listen to or read.
You want the gospel study maybe to, in a sense, trigger an inspirational talk, right?
Right.
Okay. Is it still 10 minutes?
Um, I guess it would be closer to 15. It's
Okay.
really, the talks are usually more than that, but
Yeah. Now, let me suggest that whenever you create a stack, that you create an all or nothing check for it, or else make it into different stacks. So all or nothing would mean I either did all of that and I check it,
mhm.
or I didn't do all of it and I don't check it. That's
Okay.
basically what that means. By the way,
Well,
to get rid of these checks, I want to show you really quick how to do it.
uh-huh.
So here's, you put it on the little cursor on E there, and you just take your right arrow button, move it down there like that, and then click the space bar twice. The same goes with the bonus, space bar twice, and then you're all ready for the week. Same goes with all, well, this isn't the space bar, this is the back bar. You just erase all this, and now everything's yours and ready to go, including all that. We'll just erase that, and this will all be what you decide is going on.
So how do
So,
I save what I've done for the week and then start fresh the new week next week?
so once you've moved your money over to your bank account, then you go ahead and do what I just did and delete everything and go again. So the line for the starting point is the moving of your money. And of course, you'll want to get all ready to go by Sunday night or Monday morning. Just takes a second too to reset the
But
whole thing.
you don't save the previous week.
No. I mean, you could make some duplicate records of it. I would say, like Stephen Covey says, that the most effective way to manage your life is week by week. Now, remember, this is just habits.
Right.
You have your Todoist, which I recommend to everyone for project management. That's an ongoing record of the steps you've taken toward the goals and dreams you're trying to create. This is your habits. This is your fuel that kind of creates the ultimate vehicle that's driving toward those goals. What's the ultimate vehicle? The ultimate vehicle is you, and the ultimate fuel for the ultimate vehicle is, or in other words, are your habits. So that's why it's just kind of fun to make, in my mind, the ongoing record of this is the money that ends up in my bank account. That is such a celebration. But you could make copies of this if you really wanted to.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's one stack. Do you have, what would be another question before we come up with another stack?
Okay, I've got one.
Yeah.
The another habit that I have chosen is about my relationship with my spouse. And so it works for us to go to read over the day's Path of Peace homework in the morning so that we see it first thing and we know, the rest of the day what we're doing. But then we need to come back again at night and do the, check-in and stuff too. So how would you split that up?
Yeah, I would say your ideal situation is to use the little things here, and I'll show you how that works. So let's say that was the end of the day, and read couples GPS day 2 to make sure we did it. Make sure we did it. Okay. And or no, you know what would be fun is this one. You read it up and number 2, and here you complete couples GPS day number 1. Yeah, day number, whatever it is. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
So when you're ready and you've kind of messed around with, this gets a little technical, you can just do it by hand. Just So, but if you really want to make it easy, you put things, you just put different numbers there, you know, like 6 and or 6 and 2 and whatever. Let's make this 4. So you can put your cursor there, use your right arrow button and your down arrow button, go like this. This gets a little crazy here for all you techies. And at that point, you can, oh my gosh, I forgot where it was. I guess it's, yeah, there it is, data. You can sort it if you've selected that, like that. And it doesn't work, so forget that idea. But you can just do it by hand. It's the easiest way to do it. Just recopy it and stuff. We'll have to fix future versions so it does that. So anyway, that's how that would look. Read couples GPS, day, whatever the day is. And then with Jerry, and then complete couples. And I would say that's up to you individually. So, all right, now what would be, and that would be sequenced with something else, or is it just on its own little stack? Looks pretty good like that. What would be another habit? We'll see if something matches up with that or lends itself.
Well, the other habit that I had was about hypnotherapy, study and practice, and also making business plans.
Okay, so how much time would you like to spend studying, practicing, and making business plans?
What I really need is 2 to 3 hours a day. That's not usually what I get, but that's what I need.
What do you think would be super realistic that you can see in your mind right now? A streak right there. what would be realistic? So you did it at least 5 days a week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could make at least an hour happen.
Okay, I'm just gonna make this HT because I kind of ran out of room. It's kind of cool that it only gives you a certain amount of room for this, because your brain gets overloaded if there's just too long of a sentence. So, and then you're saying 60 plus minutes. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's enough for now, and you get the idea. Is there any more questions on it? Oh, big question. What are these worth relative to each other? Because what we're really going for is we want this total possible number to be about at least 2 times your actual daily income. And according to hypnotherapist George Kappas, he says that that's because your brain will register it as motivating, but not unrealistic. So let's put some relative weight on these. I would just guess that that's going to be 25, that's probably, no, that seems like, what would you say? Maybe let's put 40. I'm just trying to make them relative to each other. That's maybe 30. I'm guessing that's a huge, big deal for you. So let's just put some real weight on it. Let's put $75 on it. That will turn into savings toward your hypnotherapy office or lease or whatever you're going to buy. Does that make sense?
Enough money to get me through a month when I decide to quit my job.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's put that. Let's put down here that you're saving for 1 month's living expense. Boom. Now we've got your first goal there. That's what it's being converted to, right? And even if you just take $10 over during a day, just slip it over there. Once you're set up with Ally Bank, it's just so cool. You can just slip it over. See, because it's hard to slip over $200. It's easy to slip $10 over, and that's what you want to do. Just start bringing it over based on what you've earned in your Monopoly money and your converted from Monopoly money to real money. Okay, so I think that kind of gives you a feel for it. let's see what we've got here. So if we did, let's just see. See, we're only at 255 right now. Since we only have a few habits you're tracking, though, let's go crazy on this one. And a little crazier on this one. 400's, for a lot of people, but you've got to decide what double your income is, daily income. For right now, we're just going to put 400 on it, just so this demo will make sense to folks. But let's put one more habit down here. And the one that I always like to suggest putting a ton of weight on is treasure chest itself. So at the end of the day, you're going to do treasure chest, or you may even have that one up here and that one down here. I didn't want to copy very well. Treasure chest. Any interest in getting to bed on time? At an early hour? What would that be?
Well, not early, but I like to try and be in bed by 10:30 at latest.
Does that mean much to you? Does it have much weight?
Well, I do it because I know that I function better when I do it, so I just automatically pretty much do it.
Let's give it a relative weight then. 40. We're up to 330 right now. And those are 0 because we're not tracking them. But you see how that goes. So you just kind of create a relative weight that equals, like treasure chest, I've always felt that's just a huge, if a person will do treasure chest every day, all the other dominoes in their key actions and habits will follow. Okay. So you're up to 270 there, and you want to keep messing with that. And there you go. That's basically the whole demo right there. Okay.
Okay.
And I erased that for you. All the setup tips are here. The step-by-step tips are there. If your friends want to purchase this Sheets app, they can write to Narelle or Venmo Narelle, $9.95 retail price, or even better, Venmo Michelle Nealey, $9.95 price. That works just as good to me because Michelle is part of the development team with this. Okay, if that's all the questions, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay.